I'm Chris, you're watching FRAG-MENTAL, thanks for joining me. Today I'm looking at the 4 new fragrances in Amouage's Renaissance collection. Stay tuned to FM. Alright, so Amouage very kindly sent me these 4 new fragrances to try, and they sent me a bottle of Overture as well, which I'd really been wanting to try. I'd seen a lot of things posted on YouTube and Instagram about this Renaissance collection, so I really was eager to try them. So thank you, Amouage. They came in this beautiful box. This is like a lacquered box with a wood effect, with some butterflies on the front. Really beautiful, actually. And then you open it up and there's some felt inside, and we've got the Amouage logo. And there's some weight to this. This is a really quality presentation, speaks of the quality you can expect from Amouage. And the atomizers are these, so I mean even the atomizers are pretty bling, and they came in these little felt pouches. So thank you, Amouage. It was totally unexpected. I just received a shipping notification that I was to expect an Amouage package and had no idea what was going to be in there, and this landed on my doorstep, so very thankful for that, very grateful. So what I thought I'd do today is go through the 4 Renaissance fragrances. I have been wearing these, but I'm going to spray them again. I'm going to have another little sniff and just give you a few brief opinions on each of these 4 fragrances, just in case you're thinking about buying them or you're interested. Hopefully this video will give you a bit of a better idea. All right, let's dive into these. The first one I'm going to smell is Crimson Rocks, and there is a little bit of information that comes with each of these fragrances. Crimson Rocks conjures the majesty of Al Hajar Mountains in all their glory at dusk. Standing tall at the top, one is engulfed by a sweet sense of peace. And I just want to show you the atomizer of this. I'll just punch in for a little close-up. It's gorgeous detailing on them. We have the Amouage name on this gold banding here, and the Amouage logo on the top, and then a really nice atomizer. Great feel to these. This is kind of a rubber detailing. So yeah, gorgeous gorgeous little atomizers there. Okay, so the notes in this one are pink pepper, cardamom bark essential, rose ultimate, jujube honey, oakwood, cedarwood, and vetiver. Okay, so as you will have deduced from those notes, this is a rose-based fragrance, but it's a spicy rose, and I'm going to spray it again just on my skin to remind myself of it. So this is not a really strong feminine rose note at all. Incidentally, even though this does come in the bottles that are usually for the female range of Amouage fragrances, this is a unisex fragrance. All these 4 fragrances are unisex, and I would say that this is absolutely a unisex rose fragrance. It doesn't lean feminine to me at all. I think either sex could wear this. I think it's right in the middle. So you get that spiciness of the pepper. It's got a real zing in the opening, and it's a little bit jammy. The rose is just a touch jammy, but the rose is not overbearing in this fragrance. It's there, and it's blending with the spices really well. It's a very assertive fragrance, actually. This one really stands out. It cuts through the air. I think it projects more than any of the other fragrances in this collection. So if you want to go out and you want to make a statement and you want people to smell you, then this is the fragrance that will do that. You really get the sweet earthiness from this jujube honey. I don't know what that honey is. I've never spread that on my toast, but I have read that it's a quite earthy honey, and you do get this lovely earthy sweetness. So you've got the earthy sweetness of this honey mixed with the pepper and the spices in there, and then the slightly jammy rose. It's a really good scent. I think there are others in this collection that I naturally gravitate towards the smell of, but I would quite happily wear this fragrance, and like I said, I think if you wear this one, you're going to get noticed. So Crimson Rocks is a fantastic fragrance. I would absolutely wear this, and I think this is the time of year. I think these warm, earthy tones and the spiciness and the rose, I think it will just work really well in the autumn. If I was going to buy one bottle of all of these fragrances, it wouldn't be this one, although I do really enjoy it. There is another one here that the smell and the scent profile just really resonates with what I love in fragrances. So I really enjoy Crimson Rocks. If you like spicy rose fragrances, I think this one is definitely worth checking out. So moving on to Enclave, and Amouage say about this one: as the last sun rays bid farewell to the fjords of Mussendom, Enclave sophisticatedly portrays the freshness trapped inside a rich, earthy, warm hideaway where land meets the sea. I'm going to spray this one again. Been wearing these over the last few days actually, and I've really been enjoying all of them, and they've grown on me more, particularly this one. Just let me read you the notes in here. There's cardamom oil, spearmint oil, pink pepper, cinnamon bark oil, rose absolute, patchouli heart, olibanum oil and vetiver oil, saffiano, which is a leather accord, amber extreme and labdanum resinoid. So when you first spray this one, you get this spearmint, this beautiful spearmint note. It reminds me, I don't chew gum anymore, but it reminds me of Wrigley's spearmint. You know, when you first put the stick of gum into your mouth and it just kind of explodes with that beautiful spearmint accord. So it reminded me of that. It's a high quality spearmint. It's not like a synthetically sweet note. I mean, you wouldn't expect that from Amouage anyway. But so I thought with this, okay, it's a nice spearmint note, but I thought it was just going to be a minty fragrance, and I thought, okay, really nice, but I think I'd just get a little bit bored of that mint after a while. Beautiful mint opening, but if it was going to be mint throughout the whole of the fragrance, I just thought maybe it's not going to be for me. When you spray it, although the spearmint does dominate in the opening, you're aware of the warmth of woods underneath, so it's really nicely balanced. It's not just out and out mint, that is the most prominent note, but it's got a lot of structure to it as well. And this one really surprised me because as it develops, the structure just reveals itself more, and this beautiful woody backbone just becomes apparent, and the mint dies down, and you're left with this rich, woody, warming type accord. It's just magical, actually. I've never experienced a fragrance that changes so dramatically from opening to dry down. And the dry down isn't just this woody skin scent at all. It's still projecting and has this little bit of creaminess maybe to it as well in the dry down, and even though the mint isn't as prominent, it's still there. It just becomes more of a background note into the dry down, but it's a really lovely composition. And you know what I will say is, I think that this, of all these four fragrances, is the most mass appealing. The fact that there's Amber Extreme in here, an alternative to Ambroxan, is creating, I think, this really kind of woody, mass appealing fragrance. So it starts off fresh, it dries down into this lovely rich woody fragrance, and it has this addictive quality. You kind of want to keep smelling it because I do anyway. I keep getting interested in at what stage of this transition between this fresh mint and this rich woodiness. So I keep going back to it just to smell where the fragrance is. So great opening. Dries down to something completely different. It's versatile, it's mass appealing. I think this is the one that most people are perhaps likely to comment on and ask you what you're wearing, because it is so crowd pleasing. I think it has a complexity. It's not just a simple fragrance. There's lots going on here, but Enclave is if you want this really nice mix of fresh and woody depth, then this is definitely one to look at. I initially slightly dismissed this off that spearmint opening, but as it dried down, I thought, no, this is a brilliant scent, and I would say that just by a little bit, it's my second favourite of the fragrances here. So Enclave is a good one. Let's move on to Ashore. Amouage say about this one: on the coast of Ras Al Jin's midsummer, when the sun is in the middle of the sky, Ashore depicts a mirage of the senses. And the notes listed in here are pink pepper, cardamom oil, turmeric leaf oil, jasmine sambac absolute, solar accord, rose absolute, ambergris accord, olibanum, hyper absolute, not just absolute, hyper absolute, and sandalwood oil. So I don't know what the difference is between absolute and hyper absolute. If someone knows, please do let me know. So let's have a little spray again of this. Okay, so this is predominantly a white floral scent. The jasmine to me is the most prominent note here, and but it's completely unisex fragrance. This does not go so far into white floral indolic territory that you would associate it with being a female fragrance. You know, in the same way that Reflection Man is very jasmine heavy and very floral, but it really works as a masculine fragrance. This is kind of doing the same thing. It doesn't smell the same as Reflection Man, other than the crossover of that jasmine note and the fact that there's sandalwood in here. It's a very well-rounded, slightly indolic white floral scent. Perhaps the least unique of the fragrances from this Renaissance collection, because I feel like I've smelled fragrances similar to this before, but that's not to say that the quality isn't on point as usual with Amouage. It's a great quality, unisex, white floral based fragrance. Personally, this is not the bottle I would buy from this collection, because there are a couple of others that appeal to me more than this. But if you like white floral fragrances that aren't too feminine, or aren't too masculine, then I think this is definitely one to try. Ashore is really nice. I've saved my favourite until last, and that is Meander. Amouage say Meander explores the exhilarating feeling of happiness in a land of fog, lush green mountains and running streams. I will say that the lush green mountains maybe is a little bit misleading, because I read that and I thought, oh, this is going to be a green scent, but it's not green. It's definitely woody and spicy, but it's not a green fragrance, which suits me because green fragrances are okay. Oh, that's so good. Let me read you the notes on this. Olibanum oil, carrot heart, pink pepper, black pepper oil, orris, rose absolute, cypriol heart, and jonquil absolute. I think that's how you say that. Now, had to look this one up. Jonquil absolute is actually daffodil. Now, this fragrance doesn't smell of daffodils to me, so whether it's meant to or not, I don't know. But I don't smell this and think, oh yeah, beautiful yellow daffodils. So I get the resins, the olibanum here jumps out. You get the woodiness, you get the spices, and I get this milky, woody composition. And then as it dries down, as things settle down a little bit, it gets a little creamier, and I pick up on almost a caramel-like accord in the base. So it's quite a sweet fragrance. It's probably the most complex fragrance in terms of what's going on in here and the depth. I think this is the fragrance that has the most depth, and this is perhaps why I like this one more than the others, because it just speaks to me. It's sweet, it's complex, it's got depth, it smells mass appealing. It's not like an Interlude Man that is going to be a challenging fragrance at all. It's not really heavy on smoke or incense or anything like that. It's a very, very pleasant, wearable fragrance that definitely smells high quality niche, but manages to strike that balance between the quality and the mass appeal. I also get some of the orris in here, some of that slightly earthy orris, like orris root, and maybe orris butter, but I don't really get this rose absolute. I don't really pick up on a lot of rose in here, so it's definitely not dominated by the rose, probably just a supporting note. Performance of this, I don't think it projects as much as Crimson Rocks and as Enclave, and probably not as much as Ashore either, but it does project, albeit in more of a subtle way. It does project, but it lasts a long time. This has got the kind of structure to it that it just hangs around, so this will stay on the skin for, you know, 8 to 10 hours, so it definitely lasts. I think the longevity of this one is the best. It might not have the biggest scent bubble when you first spray it on, but I think overall the longevity of Meander is the best. This just really speaks to me. I just find it interesting and wearable. It kind of gives me a lovely kind of warm, cozy feeling. Again, I think it's going to work really well in the autumn. So Meander is a fantastic fragrance. I'm considering doing a full review in a little bit more detail on this one further down the line. So there you go, a little bit of information on these fragrances. I have been wearing them a little bit, kind of a third impressions, if you like. I haven't spent longer than 4 or 5 days with these, but I have been wearing them a few times since I've received them, just on skin, to try and get a good sense of these, because just off the strips, I can't do it. I really need to experience them off skin. For example, I don't think Enclave would have developed in the same way if I'd have just tried that as a first impressions on camera off the strip. So not a full-on detailed review of all these 4 fragrances, but hopefully it gave you a little bit more information than just a first impressions. I think they're great. I think these are a really good set of fragrances. Well done to Amouage. The usual quality that we expect from the brand. I hope this has been useful if you've been considering these fragrances or you've been curious as to what they smell like. Hopefully I've given you a bit of an idea of what's going on with them. So Meander is the one for me, but I'm sure everyone would have a different favourite. Let me know if you've tried any of these. I'd love to hear your opinions on them as well. So that's it from me for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, keep tuning into FM, keep smelling good, and I'll see you in the next one.